Hello everyone. In this session on employee personal information migration, I will walk you through the key changes, starting with an overview and concluding with a demonstration of the migration activity. Let's start with the agenda for this session, which is to perform employee personal information data migration through ETL script. The primary objective of this activity is to migrate employee personal information from the source data template to the Onfinity ERP application. These are the prerequisite steps you need to follow before the migration process. Tenant and organization configuration must be completed. A migration user must be available or created with the name as import user. Talend must be set up and configured properly. You can refer to the Talend setup video. You should also watch the data template overview video for filling out the data into the template correctly. Then we have the employee personal information slide. Employee personal information is that in which the employee's personal details are recorded. For example, employee name, date of birth, blood group, and employee address. The employee personal information screen contains multiple tabs. They are employee, employee address, bank account, employee language, and employee phone. The employee personal information data template will be used to migrate data into the employee personal information screen. Let's begin by reviewing the source template that has been prepared for employee personal information migration. This is our employee personal information source template. This template is considered for migration activity for employee personal information and its related tab, and it will populate the data to the employee personal information screen and its related tab. It consists of an instruction worksheet, a data worksheet, and a list reference worksheet with a predefined format and validation trigger buttons. Hopefully, you have already gone through the data template overview video shared earlier. That video explained how to correctly fill out the data and the format of the data template. Now let me show you the corresponding employee personal information screen in the application. Let's search for employee personal information in the menu bar. As mentioned, this screen has multiple tabs. They are employee header, employee address, bank account, employee phone, employee language, and so on. In templates, the fields with data will be populated to the respective fields in the tab. Now we will validate the template to ensure there are no discrepancies in data worksheets. Let's click on the trigger button, which will check for multiple validation cases like mandatory fields, duplicate fields, or drop-down field, etc. As you can see, we got the pop-up message that employee worksheet data validation is completed. Some issues were found. Please address the gap and try again. Okay, let's go to the employee worksheet. Here you can see in column B we have mentioned that employee number, code, or staff ID must be unique. No duplication is allowed. That means a record cannot have a duplicate employee code. It should be unique. Let's change it. As you can see, we have a drop-down field which has a list value. Part-time, permanent, intern, and contact and mail does not represent this field, so let's remove it. As you can see, in the employment start date, we have a wrong date format. So let's resolve the format. As here, you can see the mandatory fields contain a blank value, so it is highlighted as red. Let's resolve this. Let's rerun the button as the pop-up message shows, employee data validation is completed. No issues were found. Now let's run the trigger button for an employee address. The pop-up message indicates there are some gaps that need to be resolved. Let's go to the employee address worksheet. As you can see, column B is a header reference. This means the values are referring from column B of the employee worksheet, which is employee number code, or staff ID. Since this value is not present in that worksheet, it is highlighted in orange after comparison. So let's resolve this, and we have no other discrepancy in this worksheet. Now let's rerun the button as the pop-up message indicates. The employee address worksheet data validation is completed. No issues were found. Similarly, we can validate bank account, employee language, or employee phone. As the templates are validated, now we will see the path where the file is present. Go to the C drive, then to the training session, then we have a Talend folder, then we have a project folder, then a source folder, then we have a folder with the module name, then we have a data object folder and a source folder, then our file. Here is the exact folder path we use. This is a location from where the Talend job picks up the data template for data processing. Now, let's move to Talend and begin the migration process. Talend is an ETL tool which helps to migrate the data from the source template to the target table. As you can see here, our data object folders in the repository are employee personal information and its related jobs. First, we will run the staging job, which picks up the data from the source template, applies initial transformation and checks, and loads the data into the staging table for the employee. We have a clubbed staging job. This means in this job, we are migrating data into 3 staging tables related to employee, employee address, and bank account. Now let's run the staging job. The data is migrated to the staging table for the employee and sub-related tab. Now we will execute the main job for the employee header. This job reads from the staging table. It performs final transformation and error handling, then loads the records into the target employee table. This is our insert component, and this is our update component. If a record already exists in the system, it will go to the update. If not, it will go to the insert component. Let's run the main job. As you can see, the record inserted into the target table. Now let's run the second tab, Employee Address. In this main job, we will migrate the employee address data. Records are successfully migrated. Now let's run the employee bank account job. The bank account is also successfully migrated. Now let's run the employee phone script. Now let's run the employee phone main screen. As you can see, the data is also migrated successfully. The job is creating files to capture the errors. Let me show you where the error file is saved in the folder structure. This is our error folder. Here you can see we have an error file for the employee and its related tab. These files log all failed records along with the reason. This is helpful for quick resolution and reprocessing. As you can see in the employee bank account data, one record went to the error file. Now let's open the employee bank account error file. As you see the error message, the employee bank name is not present in master data and it cannot be null. That means this bank is not present in the master data, which is a bank master. So firstly, we need to recheck the bank master data and revise the record in the template. Then we will need to migrate again to the staging table and then to the main table for the employee bank account. As you see, SDFC Bank India is not present in the master data. So either you need to create a master record for the bank, or we have to correct the name for the bank. So here we can see SDFC Bank is the correct value. Let's resolve this in the template. First, you run the staging job. Now for the main job, as you see, there is no record in the error file, and one record is inserted to the target table. Finally, the migration is completed. Now we will check the data in the application. Before that, first we will see the template for the record values. This is our employee data with the employee code full name. Let's revisit the application screen and check the values for these records. We can now see the newly created employee personal information records. As you can see, Vimal Kumar exists in the template. We will check the value for it. Let's check for another record. This confirms that the migration has been completed successfully, and the fields are visible with the mapped data. That was all for this session. Thank you for attending.